Hello, Internet. Hewlett here with a Burn and Learn finally. Yay! Oh my gosh, what a bumpy start to March break. Let me start by saying that this is a Burn and Learn. It is my bid to stay alive and fit long enough to raise my amazing son, possibly break him a little along the way, and to enjoy the twilight years of my brilliant, beautiful wife, Jane. I hate exercise. Exercise is boring, so I like to learn something while I'm doing it, and I like to share what I've learned with you in the sweatiest way possible, thus me here now. 45 minutes. I did 45 minutes today, and I gotta say, it was, for the first time in a long time, it was actually a really nice, welcome escape. Just no excuse. I have to listen to rocking, 2000s music, because that's what I seem to be stuck on right now, and read. And it's great. Yeah, it was really quite a welcome. A welcome reprise from things. We took Baz and his beautiful mom went skiing. I had a ton of stuff I had to write up, so I just stayed in the chalet and geeked out like I do, talked to a couple of Stargate nerds, that kind of stuff. Son comes in at lunch looking a little green, fell down, not feeling great. I say, fine, so give it up. And he goes, all right, eats a little, and then decides to go back out again because he's not me. And so skis the rest of the day, and of course that night, he's in misery. I mean, he's just, his arm's all swollen up. I'm like, oh my God. I was like building air casts out of packing material, like creating little sort of splints for him and everything. It's actually kind of cool. But sure enough, we take him into the hospital. 6.5 hours later, they diagnose this. It's called a green branch fracture. So basically, the bone in the bones of someone as old as I, it would just go snap. And then hello lights. Of course, in a youngster like him, it bends and breaks like a green branch. Like you try to break a green branch, it bends, and then it's sort of the little pieces sort of come back together again. So it's got like a nasty bump. It's a nasty fracture in a not great place because it is wrist. So it's going to get looked at in a week's time. He's got a temporary cast on now, which he sort of likes. It's too bad it's not the hard one you can write on. It's all fuzzy, so I'll have to figure something out there. And of course, we fly out to LA, so that'll be interesting. But the advantage of that is that it's a long flight, possibly even longer, because we were flying on one of these 800 Maxes, which is just horrific. I can't believe in this day and age this kind of stuff is happening. It's just oh God, I can't even imagine what those people are going through. So anyways, one of those planes, I don't know which one it was on the way up or the way back, was going to be one of them. So I'm sure it's going to be a nightmare of rescheduling and all that kind of stuff. But what it means is I will get lots of time to read, and I've got to finish this surveillance capitalism book because frankly, I just want it over with at this point. But it's also just, I'd be dying to really spend some time with it. So I started reading again some more of that today while I was on the torture device. She's talking about totalitarianism, something I can never say, totalitarianism. And sort of the rise of Mussolini and Hitler and how they took the idea of giving yourself up to the state, or giving yourself up to, the person in some cases as well. So this almost like cult-like thing. But the idea that the individual was no longer important, and how that was also being used in the sort of the creation of psychology and of the psychology of behavioral manipulation and stuff. So just how you have to, in order to be doing that kind of stuff, the belief was that there was the other. There was the person who was doing the observing, and then there was the observed, and they were not a human. They were something else that needed, you couldn't look at it through, they had no soul, no emotions. There was nothing else to it. There should be no connection to them. It should just be this other thing, and it should be looked at as if just as a series of behaviors. That free will, as it were, is an illusion, because it's just behavioral stuff we don't understand, which is a really interestingly terrifying shift for me, because the reality is I very much believe that we are complex beings, but that we work under the same rules of physics and nature and biology as everything else. So perhaps surely there are illusions and things that we have built up to explain things that don't necessarily exist. And the people that she's talking about in this book were saying basically that's it. That like the weather, it used to be you'd have to be a witch to know what kind of what the weather was going to be. Now, because we have these incredibly complex computers that can work out what's going to happen, we can get roughly the right idea for the weather. But the idea is it's a science that is slowly being perfected. Surely we are just, you know, storms of behavior ourselves that could eventually be deciphered, and that perhaps free will and freedom is an illusion. So, wow. And of course, that in the context of surveillance capitalism, where we are being sort of poked and prodded into buying and visiting places and even thinking things. You know, there's this very alarming bit where she talks about the, you know, the rise of Hitler and Mussolini, and how it was all about misinformation and confusion and this disbelief by the sort of the intelligentsia that this stuff was possible, that this could be happening in our world today, type thing. It's just kind of an alarming sort of rings alarmingly familiar in sort of today's political milieu and stuff. So just fascinating stuff. I've been doing lots of work on Tech Terrors and how to allow you guys to enjoy this stuff with me, because you've got to see it. It's like, I'm telling you, watching these kids learn stuff is just, it's amazing. So I've come up with a little, well, almost like a story arc for a few little things that I'd like to sort of share with you. And I'm going to get some help with my friends at Shaftesbury to do that. And really excited about that. And the other thing is, please, Stargate, you guys have had the best Stargate science tie-in suggestions, and as many as I can get, any suggestions you've got, because I think what I'll do is to raise a little money and get some of the equipment that I really want to get to, you know, play with the kids with on this stuff. I think what I'll do is I'll do some kind of system of maybe some sort of Stargate related content, Stargate science, technology, engineering, arts, and math related stuff, as well as some commentary stuff. So, so hoping to sort of basically rally the Stargate troops on this, as well as the obvious, you know, parents and teachers and kids and stuff, who I'm hoping will get a kick out of this, because it should be really fun. And I get a little makerspace to work in, which would just be awesome. Put cameras everywhere. You can see what's going on. Like, you know, check in on my 3D printer, see what I'm doing, or the laser cutter, which I probably won't leave running on its own, because then I might get in trouble. Anyways, so I gotta go. I got a meeting to go to. I got a kid to take to a movie, and so until we geek again, sweaty or not, here I come. Cheerio!